So for the more advanced color, theory of color with the element of art, we have a different sheet for that. That's a little bit more advanced. It goes into tertiary colors, monochromatic, analogous colors is still on here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to break it down, okay? So I have drawn this, and you're welcome to print this out, or I would prefer you try to draw it. Yes, this is not evenly spaced, because when you try to get that many lines and divisions into this pie shape, it doesn't work out very well, so I'm aware of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start filling this in, and we're going to take care of our primary colors, and I think I will I'll label them first, and then we'll go back and fill them in, because it might take a while to pull out all those crayons. Okay, so first we're going to fill in the primary colors, and let's start right here, and we're going to write blue, and then I'm going to skip down, and the fourth one is going to be yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yellow, and then I'm going to skip and do the fourth one, red. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is going to be red. So those are your primary colors. And I'm going to go ahead and write them. Blue, yellow, red. All right, the secondary colors, now pay attention to this. This is going to get tricky, because there are now 3 spaces between the primaries. Tell you what, I'm going to color those, and that way it'll stand out better. I will be right back. All right, I think that'll be easier to see now. All right, so in between the blue and the yellow, there's 3 pieces of pie, 3 triangle or cone shapes. So what we need to figure out is where to put the next color. We're going to work on secondary colors, which are the colors that the primaries make. So blue and yellow make green. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. And it needs to be centered between yellow and blue. So I'm going to put green centered between the 2. Okay, so we have 3 here also. Now from our early studies, we know that red and yellow make orange. So I'm going to write it so I won't forget to do that. And I'm also going to go ahead and write it in the section between the 2. So I've got 2 on each side for the tertiary. All right, so we also know that blue and red make purple or violet. So I need to make sure I pick the one between there, and I'm going to write violet. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and color those, and that way it'll be easier on the eye when we come back for the tertiary, which are the 3rd colors created on the color wheel. So I went ahead and put in my secondary colors, green, orange, and violet. Now the tertiary. Here are these empty blanks between my primaries and my secondaries, because you can combine the primary and the secondary to get another color, a tertiary color. So if I were to take blue and green and mix them together, if this were painting, it would be a whole lot easier. If I were to mix blue and green, I would get blue, green, and Crayola understood the importance of that. If I were to mix green and yellow, or yellow and green, I would get yellow-green. And if I were to mix yellow and orange, I would get yellow-orange. Alrighty, same here. If I were to mix red and orange, I would get red, orange. And red and violet, I would get violet, red. And last, but absolutely not least, violet and blue, and I would get blue, violet. All right, so I'm gonna get this colored in. I'm gonna get my tertiaries written over here. There's no need for you to watch my hands do that. So we'll come back and finish filling in. While I'm doing this, you could be filling yours in. The crayons I used to get all of these correct was the 24 pack of crayons. And we'll see if they last 35% longer. All right, so I'll be back when mine is colored in. There we go. I have the entire color wheel colored in with the primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. I have them labeled over here with a little smear of crayon beside it. Now we're going to go back to the complementary colors. Complementary colors are colors that are directly opposite each other on the color spectrum. And when two complementary colors are mixed together, they neutralize each other out. Basically, they create brown. So, on this color wheel, it might be a little harder to tell because of my lines. But, if you were to look at the previous video or on the internet, purple and yellow are directly across from each other. So, they're complementary. I'm going to put P in yellow. I should have done a V for violet. Forgive me. Purple and yellow. And then we have red and green. Red and green. And then we have blue and orange. So each one of those has a primary color and a secondary color. So I'll come back and put the little smears of color there. The analogous colors, I still can't pronounce that word. These are the colors that are beside each other on the color wheel. So let's just give 3 examples of that. Yellow and yellow-green. Red and violet red. Blue and blue-green. These are the colors that are beside each other on the color wheel. So let me get some of these marked off, and then we're going to talk about the warm and the cool colors. All right, so I have finished filling in quickly what we were missing. So I have my complementary colored in. I have my analogous colors colored in. I went back and did the warm, which is the yellow, red, orange, and the cool, which is the green, blue, purple, or violet. Now, for the warm colors, I would think anything in that category would be warm. Think fire, heat. And then anything over in here, including the yellow, green, those would be your cool colors. So the primary and secondary colors are the cool and warm colors, but then also the tertiary that those two colors combined make. So not worried about that other than these warm and these cool colors. So that is the 7th and 8th grade color theory sheet. So it will be included in Google Classroom for you to print out or fill in, and then also to draw. One of the questions on here is monochromatic is. It's kind of hard to show that on the color wheel because monochromatic is using only one color. So get this part done, and then I'll be pulling the examples for your project involving color while you're doing this. I'll be back with that in a little bit. All right, so now that we've finished the color worksheet in our sketchbook. We need a clean sheet and the supplies that you'll need other than your coloring items, whatever you should choose. Colored pencil is my top choice. You'll need a CD, great movie. You'll need a pencil, and of course you'll need an eraser. And I have these papers on Google Classroom. These are just some samples. You do not have to do these, but I really like the circle with the circles inside color wheel. The umbrella, which they turned into a more detailed drawing, which of course I expect. And then we also have the eye with the color wheel. So the assignment is to take the color wheel and turn it into some kind of art instead of just the regular old color wheel worksheet style. So I have this on there for you to examine. You do not have to do these. I prefer you not do these exact ones, but if you want to do the eye, I have also included the instructions for how to do the eye step by step, except instead of a cloud and sun in the center, you will be putting the color wheel in the center. So I'll have both of these together for you. So anyway, I will work on mine and turn it in the assignments area. Go ahead and get started on this. This is your project for Element of Art Color. Have a great time. This is a fun project.